Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Otman show. My next guest is a very influential person. 1.3 million followers on Instagram, 1.1 million followers on TikTok. He praises Allah for a living. At only 24 years of age, he is already a multimillionaire, serial entrepreneur, philanthropist, business coach. He is the national champion, #1 ranked fighter in the UAE. Roslan Bendenia.
Thank you, man. That's probably the best introduction I ever got.
First of all, before we get started, I've got something for you.
Wow, thank you.
This is the first thing. Feel free to have a look.
What is this?
I've never seen you send shorts with your name on before.
Oh, this is the first time, yeah. I did. Oi, okay. We got the whole Algerian flag in here. No, I love that, man. Thank you so much, bro. Yeah, I would definitely wear it.
And also, since we're in Bali, I thought to give you something.
My barber is not gonna like this, but sweet.
Fantastic. Well, let's get straight into it. Who's it, Roslan? Who's Roslan? A guy from Algeria. At the age of 7, he was selling fish. Then what? What happened after that?
I think it is a kid that grew with a lot of pain and found a way to transition it into action. You know, a lot of people, they pity themselves and they play this victim role. But I found the path that many great names have found as well, and that is just like to use it as fuel.
Interesting. All the great people. The average age to become a millionaire, it's around 61 years old. Now, Warren Buffett became a millionaire at 32. Elon Musk at 27. Jeff Bezos at 33. Roslan at 20. Now, currently, these individuals are all billionaires, okay? What do you think of that?
I think that gives me the justification that I'll be the next billionaire, but way sooner. Inshallah. It just shows that how times have changed, you know? When we're talking about 2 decades ago and now, it has never been this easy to make money online. So anybody who's still hesitating, anybody who's still working a normal job should really take a moment and look around and ask himself what others are doing differently.
What makes you think that now it's easier than ever? Why would you say that?
The internet, social media, everything has become so easy to access. We think about local shops, restaurants. Every single job you had out there is taken. And social media is in the highest evolution right now. So if you don't make money online and you're still making it locally somewhere, then you should move your business.
So information became more accessible for everyone.
Way more, and it's free. That's the thing. Before you had to pay, you had to travel hundreds of miles away to actually learn these kind of skills. Now it's just accessible on your phone, your laptop device, anything.
What shifted you from making 10,000 to over $500,000? How did you get that?
I think the belief that you can, you know, you have to always discover with your own eyes and feelings and hands that kind of amount in your hand. So I feel like anybody who's looking out for $1 million or $500,000 in the start, where you didn't even make your first 10K, is a big mistake. Create milestones, create goals, create certain destinations you want to move to. I always say, you know, don't focus on the journey, don't focus on the destination, but focus rather on the road to it. Because then you will walk way further than the man who focuses on the destination. And then you will find yourself reaching 10K, 50K, 100K, then the next milestone is going to be 200K. Every single time is going to get easier and more possible for you to achieve it.
I see. So you're in the e-com game. If I wanted to get started, how do I start? Do you offer some sort of mentoring, coaching, one-on-one? Are you able to teach me what you're doing on a daily basis?
Yeah, sure. But the real question is, are you able to learn? Because it will always be yourself who's going to catch the information and apply it or not. Many people, they've invested in so many things, man. It's like me reading 100 books right now and not applying one. Just to go around and tell people, hey, I've read this book and that book. That's the period we're living in today, the era of flexing on other people with information that you're not even applying. So you rather read 5 books and actually put it into action and practice than 100 and just pretend you're knowledgeable. So yeah, are you willing to learn? Of course, then you can learn anything. And e-commerce is one of the easiest ones today in terms of online businesses.
I see. Once I get that mindset and I'm ready for it and I think I can just learn anything, what's the next step? Or do you have courses?
Yeah, I would say, go and learn from the mistakes. A lot of information already out there, but I've seen that the one-on-ones with people, even including myself, I tried to watch so many courses online, watched all the courses. And the thing is, you'll always find yourself hesitating if you're making the right steps or not. So getting a one-on-one guidance from someone who's actually already there and has walked the path is the fastest way you can guarantee success. Most people rather spare money and not go big and just watch YouTube videos and get confused and nobody's confirming it and nobody's double checking it. That's where you make the mistakes.
I see, that's great. After spending a week with you, I've noticed how disciplined you are.
Yeah.
You track your breathing. You've got a device in your hand.
Yeah.
You track your food, sleep, emotions. You've got a desk just for reading. You've got a desk just for working. You have a mattress that tracks your body temperature and it cools down, it warms up depending on how your body feels. Isn't that next level insanity? Isn't that too much?
No, I believe if you can control yourself, you can control anything. But most people try to control life when they're not in control of themselves. So knowing what goes in, knowing what goes out, tracking everything around you is a profound way of becoming very successful. I've seen many high-level people, they're very aware of all the things around them. And they always track back. They track to what they've done the days before, of how they can outcompete the person they were the day before, the week before, the month before. So it's just a perception of awareness, People are just getting dragged by life. They don't know where they're standing. They don't know where they're heading. They don't know what they're taking, what's bringing them power. So also operating peak male performance and always be super sharp and respond fast and be perspicacious.
I see. That's such a, wouldn't you agree that's a very difficult routine to keep up with?
I see it as actually more difficult because the price you're paying afterwards of, procrastinating on your own future and goals and having to live with that is a much higher price to pay than actually doing the work. And many people, they don't notice that the biggest risk they're taking is by not taking any risk. So if you're thinking, you know what, let me just chill out for a day. Well, that's fine, It's just a matter of how badly you want to.
Okay, and what about women?
I sacrifice every single thing that is needed to be sacrificed. And I think women is one of the profound ways to measure someone's success. Nowadays, the highest temptation of men and the highest pleasure is women. I think if you're competing in a battle against other men, the biggest sacrifice you could make is women. And I've seen it in my own life, holding your semen, not going, having temporary pleasures or night outs or whatever for a very long period of time will give you the mental clarity, capacity, energy, and also the spiritual attraction towards success faster than you can possibly imagine. So I've seen it with many high-level individuals where you just focus on your craft and sacrifice this. Because if you think about it, you're going to belong to the 0.5% of men who can actually manage to sacrifice this. Most men have 2 brains, not only one. We all know where the second is placed.
Very wise words. Interesting. You mentioned battle in one of your sentences, and it made me think of your last fight. Now you're a social media influencer. You've got an e-commerce empire. You're also a professional fighter. Now, You fought in front of millions of people. Isn't that nerve-wracking?
I don't care about how I feel at the moment, you know. I've done so many worse things before that, you know. For anybody who didn't know, I ended up in a Thai prison for 3 months only. I was already, every single day fighting in there. So after that, I just knew I had it in me, you know. All these people just praising, saying, this guy is a social media wacko, just doing crazy flips for views. But I proved them all wrong. And the longer you are in this game and you try to prove people wrong, you realize that their claps were never the whole point in the first place. You never needed it. So becoming the absolute best version of yourself is always the best revenge.
And I actually heard talks about you getting caught in Thailand and you were in jail. What happened? Tell me about that.
It had nothing to do with what they called me for. It had to do with something that I stood for, that I promoted on my social media. I was at some point the most fundamental, famous person when it's talking about views. You can track it all. You can go on my social media and see it. And I was in that country, in the #1 list of attraction. And then, on that moment, you become a target, you know? You got to be very careful with the words and the posts you make and put out. And I chose to stand for something, and they catch me for that. I remember getting messages every single day. You're going to get locked up. You're going to get killed. You're going to get... We all know for what, what I did.
Random people. Random people messaging you.
Not a random people that were actually involved in the politics and also the law enforcement in that country. And then what happens, 2 weeks later, they catch me and they put me in jail. Something absolutely bullshit.
How was it? How was it to be in jail?
The best period of my life, wallahi. I swear to God. Sometimes I even miss it. I see it as a retreat. And I saw the man I was becoming. I was extremely happy every single day. I made the best out of my situation. I didn't choose to pity myself or be a victim or just eat all day or sleep. I was every single day active. I had a whole line of 100 people, Thai people, just excited to give kicks in my hand because I had pets that my brother bought from the outside world. They didn't have anything in there, and I was just screaming, no, Sam, see, and then all of them just like in one line, ready to give a kick, and it all looked like a movie, you know. And I knew one day this is a story that I'm gonna be telling my own children that this is the man, this is what your father has done in the past, what he has overcame. This is why you should listen to him. And that's it. I know this was just another story in my book that I would tell people later on.
You almost make jail sound like it's fun. You're making it sound like it wasn't that bad in there. However, you were locked up in a 2 by 2 meter room with no windows. How can that be how can you miss that?
Because for once in my life, I finally got to realize my freedom. Got to appreciate my freedom. Becoming successful in a very young age like that. Obviously, before that, I saw a lot of struggle and stuff that happened in my life that formed it to it. Really formed me in the man that I was before, but still, that kind of success is hard to deal with. And then I was put into prison, and then you realize what you really had.
Such a young age, you get to experience so many different experiences, and it's incredible. I went from the lowest to the highest.
And again to the lowest, and then again to the highest.
Fantastic. It's a never-ending cycle.
Never ending.
Fantastic. What about hate? How do you deal with that?
You know how diamonds are created?
Under pressure.
Under pressure. That's it. I just see myself as a diamond. The rest of it is just like things that shouldn't be on the diamond. And if you're experiencing hate, which everyone should have when they're rising, if you don't experience that, you're not doing good. How cliche it may sound, it is true. If you don't have hate, you're absolutely nowhere towards moving towards your goals. So that's it, man. I ignore it. I see it as people just being jealous. And the best way to overcome it is just like literally breaking through it. Because these people who've been pulling you down from the early age, they will always turn to your biggest fans.
You're making it sound easier than what it is. I mean, hate could be very, how can I say it? Overwhelming.
If you let it through, yeah,
Mm.
you're always in control of your life, and you're always the one who decides what to let in. Are you gonna let it control you, or are you gonna use it as fuel to build you?
Where do you think is the best place to live in the world currently?
Currently, Dubai,
Dubai.
yeah, especially for men, also for women, you know, considering its safety. But Dubai is absolutely rising in any single metric, and I don't imagine any place beating that kind of speed in evolution and safety and network you can build. So yeah, in my opinion, Dubai is definitely good. However, I wouldn't stand to stay there for like longer than a year, or you have to move out a couple times here and there and then come back, realize what you actually have. Like anything in life, get used to everything.
You see. Before we wrap this up, I wanted to ask you one more thing.
Of course.
How long before Roslan will reach 10 million followers across all platforms?
I'm not sure, because I'm just giving absolutely every single thing I have each day. I don't care really about the views or the followers. I just care about being in bed in the end of the day with the feeling that I have given everything I have that day. So yeah, it could be sooner than ever, you know?
There's not about followers, it's just about pursuing your passions and do what you think is right on a daily basis, essentially.
Yeah, well, fashion is good, but not always, because you have to sometimes take roads that don't lie in your passion, you know? Don't go lie with it. Eventually, with your passion, you're only gonna meet in the end of your destination. But before you get there, you gotta do things that you don't like. You have to accept that. And later on, when you finally made it, you can do whatever you want.
That's it. Fantastic. Well, Mr. Roslan, wishing you all the best. Thank you so much for your time,
Yeah.
and hope to see you soon. Yo! It's Otman again. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to never miss a valuable episode.